right, you guys, we are back in studio for Hope Ignited.
Hey.
I tell you, we have had some pretty impressive guests.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm really excited about our guest today. I mean, you know, when you talk about the Sultan of SWAT, the Colossus of Clout, hails from Michigan, most consecutive starts in the NFL during your time there, NBCF advocate, Car Cares Foundation founder. I mean, when we talk about a bio and an introduction for somebody, Brandon, we could talk for hours about your awards, your accolades, but at the end of all of it, you made the time to show up, and you're here for us today. Welcome to the studio, Brandon
welcome,
Carr.
Brandon Carr.
Woo, woo,
Thank you. I'm here at the nice studio, and I see why you want to do the introduction. I appreciate that. It's been far too long since I've been intros, so I appreciate it, man. She killed you, bro.
Yeah,
so
she hypes it up.
that was awesome.
You're our family for real, you know, and it's so cool to really just be able to share with the audience a little bit more about who you are, your heart, your connection with NBCF, but we want to take it back. I mean, when we talk about, you know, humble beginnings and just let's start back in Michigan, and you're in college. Where'd you go to college?
Grand Valley State University.
And that's what, is that D2?
A big D2
Yeah.
in Grand Rapids, Michigan. A lot of people, they say Grand Valley or Mississippi Valley or Delta Valley, but Grand Valley State won 2 national championships. Only lost 4 games in 4 years.
Wow.
So that was, when I got to lead, that was a big contrast. But yeah, man, it was humble beginnings, and it just gave me my work ethic, and just kind of that foundation was created at a young age. And then when I got to be a teenager / semi-grown man, you know, I got it laid one more time at Grand Valley. So it's been a good journey.
When did you think that, did you always have a goal of getting the NFL?
No, so my first goal, right, from Flint, Michigan, we played basketball. You know, you think about the Flintstones, Michigan State Spartans.
Yeah.
Michigan State was a school I wanted to go to, in Florida State. So I was the biggest fan of Joe Dumars.
Oh, yeah.
For the Detroit Pistons, and I was also, Charlie Ward is like my all-time favorite.
Charlie Ward.
Florida State, you know, he played basketball, football, and ended up playing basketball in the NBA. So all these players, not flashy, consistent. I feel like I didn't meet them, but I feel like they were just good role models both on and off the field, and that's like how I want to carry myself. So, you know, just Grand Valley, man, just another big opportunity for myself to, you know, play a sport that I love. But going back to it all, basketball was my first sport. And it wasn't until 4th grade when I began playing football, and that was one of my better friends growing up. His dad and another dad in the community started the youth football, which is a Pop Warner back in those days, and we started to play. And you know, it was 4th through 6th grade, so I had to survive for a couple years, and I didn't like it. I didn't like football, but I was still playing basketball since 5 years old. My dad was my coach from 9 to 17. I was a point guard. I had goggles. But I get busy on the court. You know, it wasn't too much contact. I didn't have to fear the big 6th graders and the older guys, but I could do my thing. But it wasn't until, I want to say, maybe 8th grade, going into 9th grade, that it finally clicked for a couple of reasons. My brother, who was 4 years older than myself, was the first black quarterback at my school and pretty much in our town, like the outskirts of Flint. So he was a big inspiration to me. Just to see that, you know, in the offense that we ran, it was a veer as an option, so we running the football. So I can do that. I can throw it maybe from here to there, but run the option, I can do that. So I was able just to get my Fitzgerald on. So I was the ball boy in middle school for all his teams in high school. So I was a ball boy for 4 years. So I got like a sneak peek. And I was like light years ahead of my teammates and stuff when we got there.
And you're trying to like, always catch up to your older brother, right?
Yeah, I was trying to be
I
like,
can relate to that.
He was smooth and all that. And I was like the rough, like the brute one, like just physical, all that good stuff. But it wasn't until 8th or 9th grade. And the biggest reason was this. You know, we start to get to, like, you know, you got the EYBL basketball now, the Nike circuits and all that good stuff. So back then we didn't quite have it like that. It was AAU basketball, YBOA, a couple little grassroots started up. So we went to our first like Nike tournament at Cleveland State, I want to say. And it was like our first game was on a Friday night. You know, it was a little different. We get in the gym and I'm walking.
Hold on. What was your hype music back then? Do you remember?
What's your walk-up song?
Yeah,
Man,
there had
so-
been something like
so
when you're in the
look.
locker room and you're getting ready, you know, and everybody's kind of doing
Back
that.
then, like DMX was big, right? So I would do like some of
Yeah.
his skits, like the Lord's Prayer and stuff. Like
Yeah.
I would do that for my high school team, and back then we used to do the chant. Everywhere we go, we were TCI shooting stars. So like I do that type of stuff.
Yeah.
Who else was big back then? I don't know. This is the '90s shoot. I
Yeah.
mean, think about it.
I know.
Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
that was our music for the most part. The Dayton family was we from Flint, so that was our local like rap group, and they were pretty popular for us. So Dayton family stuff like that. But 8th, 9th grade, we go into a tournament, and I'm walking down the stairs, and the team is walking up. I think it was the Atlanta Celtics. So I think that was like Dwight Howard's team or whoever it was back then. So I'm walking down, they walking up, and I'm just like.
So you saw Dwight, like you were playing Dwight Howard.
Like they're taller than me.
Yeah,
as
Dwight
they're
Howard's
walking up, and I'm
ridiculous.
going down. So I'm just like,
Superman.
Dang, we're in the same grade, you know. So
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, this is a little different. And then I think I went to an Indiana tournament at Spieth Fieldhouse, and I was able to see Sebastian Telfair
Yeah.
for the New York Gauchos, and that was I think 9th grade. And they was playing like a grade or two up, and I was like, dang,
Yeah.
like this is my
That's the next
competition. He out
level.
there fast break windmilling. I'm
Yeah.
like, I can't even smack the rubber yet. So at that moment, I'm like, I seen my brother go through the process. Scouts kind of drew them like, oh, he's a big, long, 6-foot cornerback. I'm like, okay, 6-foot corner, 6'4" point guard. I'm like, dang,
Yeah.
not there. So by 9th grade, I'm like, man, this is what I want to do. And I didn't know how I was going to do it or what, but I was still hooping. But really by 11th grade is when I had that make or break moment in my life because, here they start personal training, sports training at 2. When they start walking, I'm figuring it
Yeah.
out. I'm trying to
Yeah.
give up the program.
Yep.
Like my son now, we have still days of, he's 8. I still my days of, you can Fortnite and do all that stuff. I'm going to get 30 to an hour, maybe 2. We'll get some work. Because I was like, it's fun when you win. It's not fun when you're losing. So anyway, got our first personal trainer. And that first day, I quit. After that first day of training with him, like we did jump ropes, running down the street, push-ups, got some weights involved, finished out in this back room, like sit-ups and push-ups, like 200 each, like just flipping. So to the point where I had like nightmares. My mom, with my dad, they tell you like I was at home like talking in my sleep, tossing and turning that next morning. I'm like, man, I'm not doing this. Like I'll play football, whatever, but I'm not gonna do this training. So I go play, I'm play some basketball. And just having that support group, my friends, just a few of them, bust through the door. I've been telling this story for my whole life, but like they bust through the door and like I try to hide on the toilet or just try to say I'm good.
Can't hide from
It was 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Let's go, bro. And from that second day forward, moving forward, like that was my turning point. And like I felt like I could do anything in life. And that's why I was able to use sport as like my chessboard, but just like as my fire, just to continue to mold me as a person, because I can ultimate commitment and team player here, but in life you need the same pillars and the foundation to get to where you're trying to get to. So.
It's so interesting. I'm sure we'll get to this in a few minutes, but youth leagues are a really big deal to you, and in particular, like reaching back and helping the young guns out, right? And so, at that point, it obviously made a big difference in your life, having like all these different levels of men, right? They're boys, they're teenagers, men, and seeing all these role models out there, right? So did you ever have a struggle kind of realizing you were that guy for people, or when was that point for you where people started telling you, hey, you're my role model, whether or not they were saying it?
It's always like, I guess it's humbling and flattering, I guess. I guess even right now I'm still in that transition.
Yeah.
In a different space, just playing football, NFL, like that's a different platform. It's more like a superstar role modelish, like they don't really they see me on TV. I'm kind of like, I want to be that guy, but I don't really know him like that. But now I'm in a different space of like my father, like he was a coach, but now I get to see like what was youth coach compared to like I want to do NFL, high school. Like he was a youth coach, so like he was a father figure. He was an influencer, like everything he did. So some of these kids was like, that's what it's supposed to look like.
Right.
Yeah.
So like I'm getting into that space and like transitioning from I don't say stepping out of the Ferrari, but getting out of that, get into the family car. Like, let me go ahead and try to learn how to keep myself. I mean, dang, back then I was supposed to probably keep a haircut, but like just trying to just make sure the things that I'm saying to these kids, whether I'm busting their balls or anything, or talking stuff to them, or motivate them, or just whatever, any information I'm giving them, it's like, dang, Coach Carr said, Coach Carr did this, so it's like I'm learning how to talk like a coach, and it's like it's different now. It's like I laughed at the coach, or not laughed, I'm looking at this guy. He was coaching me for so many years. Like now I got to be him and talk that same way and get that same information. It may not come off the same. Like Deion Sanders is breaking the mold of the traditional old school coaching. Like this, my word is bond and it's golden now. So it's like that piece I'm still trying to figure out. And you said about the mentor thing. It's like I talked to I had the podcast for a year. So me and my co-host David Walker, that's how I kind of got started. We talk about through the stage of life, youth sports, high school, college, professional, who makes it. You have coaches, and then you enter the real world. Some enter it before others, whether it's out of high school and that's your last time playing, or in college or whatever. Like, who coaches you? Like, who is there to teach
structure,
you?
Right?
Right, and it's like you say, maybe the coach may not have to be so much older. They can be younger, but it's like we need to continue to have that conversation, be coached up, and have those, like, be in that room. Either you being a player or the coach or something, but like.
Yeah.
Do you think that's why a lot of players who come out of the NFL struggle in those few years after, because it's like all of a sudden they don't have that structure, and they don't have like someone telling them, kind of like a leader telling them show up here, do here. They're not dependent on the same way.
Well, your regimen,
it's the structure, it's the regimen. It's like we've been accustomed to doing things. For me, it was 25 years. Like it was from 10 years old until 35, whenever I finished. I feel like I'm still going right now. But it's like even right now, like that's kind of all I've known. I went to school. I was learning other things, but like the bulk of my concentration and time and everything, clearly, I mean, it was boom right here on there. I mean, there's some guys that they can do it. They just wing it. They got other things they got going on. But for a lot of guys, I feel like, even football, it's a different sport. I'm learning that right now, just even with the youth scene. It's like, you got baseball, volleyball, soccer, all these other sports that cost like some money. But the football is like, I kind of want these guys, but they may not be able to, afford it. So, like, it's like a poor man's sport, so to speak. And as we get to the next levels and things, we don't have, maybe they didn't have the resources as I get into the foundation and things, like, it all goes hand in hand with all this stuff. So I feel like the transition is hard the first couple of years, and just now we get into this whole mental health stage, the awakening, enlightenment of everybody just paying attention to all that is like, I think it's okay. I challenge myself on a daily. I've been through my 2 years, finally kind of coming out of that, kind of like in the basement, a cellar. I wasn't like feeling ashamed or anything, like just trying to figure out like, damn, like what's next, or just making the next move. It's a little different. Like, dang, I'll go 3rd and 2 and lock you up and stuff. But now it's like, make the decision, bro. Like, make the call. It's like,
it's tough.
So it's like just gaining and getting those wings and getting my feet under me in that aspect. But the first couple of years is very challenging, and we just so prideful we forget to ask for help, or just forget to kind of have a locker room talk, because that locker room is therapy.
Oh yeah.
And we just kind of get out the locker room and don't talk about it, or things just start hitting us. The little fires become bigger and bigger and bigger. We just don't put them out. We just procrastinate. A lot of stuff that go into it, right? And then,
speaking of that, there is something I want to unpack. So, Kevin, one of the things you said is, at what point do you realize that you're kind of that mentor to this younger generation? We had an opportunity to fly to Baltimore and to do a Hope Kit packing party. And we've been on a breast health journey together. We love honoring your mom. We have an award named after your mom. So I do just want to say, Miss Kathy, we love you so much. Yes. Everything, glory be to God, because of her, right? We do all this for her. But that trip to Baltimore was really special, because you told me that day, you said, I don't know who's going to show up. Like, I put this out to the team. If they can be here, they'll be here, but we just really never know, because they're practicing. It was the middle of the season. It's hard. You want to know who showed up were the rookies that look at you and that you were paving the way for, that said, I want to be like that guy. It's not like I didn't see the pink backpack on a couple of them. Right. They're earning their stripes. But then you even have like Eric Weddle, remember at the time? Oh. It's like these guys have so much respect for you, and so many of our mutual connections are in the PR world, and these individuals that have worked for teams that you've had the honor to play for, and they always say that you're their favorite. But I just want you to know, never underestimate the impact that you have on all of these football players. It didn't matter how seasoned they were. They look at you and they show up for you. I mentioned this at the beginning, but one of my favorite stats that you had during your time at the NFL was the most consecutive starts. You always show up. Let's talk about that. What's really fuels you? What's the importance of showing up?
I mean, honestly, just throughout my whole life, I feel like the team aspect is what intrigues me in sports, and I think that team aspect is what, as you look at the different successful people, companies, whatever the case is, like it's always a team. You know, it's not just one person, whether they can take the credit or they're the ones in front. So it's just me understanding my role, and plus I was a coach's kid, you know, and I just always wanted to be dependable for my teammates. You know, the locker room to me it's sacred. Like, I miss it, and everybody can't get into that locker room, and it's a lot of things that happen in there. It's the locker room. It's his own zone. And, you know, me personally, when I commit to something, and that's why I have a heart, like I kind of stretch myself thin in a lot of areas. Like when I commit, it's like, damn, I'm here, I got to do it. So with the whole team thing, man, for one, I enjoy competing, no matter bigger, smaller, better, I'm outmatched, whatever the case is. And then the next part is I just love to be out there with my dogs, the ones that we both sacrificed this, we both committed, we both grinded through the dark days, the good times, hot, all the whatever, you know, we share the same thoughts and all that good stuff. And that part of it. And the next part is like the challenge of it all. Like, I feel like even in life, we're not going to have our best days. Every day is not going to be a good day. Maybe the week, a month, a year, a couple years, 10 years. Like, you may be going through some storms, but it's like you got to get up and you got to, like, look in that mirror and just go commit yourself to go do it again. Like, try. Like, go. So that's what I've always been. And I've also been blessed not to have no crazy injuries.
Yeah.
So that's been a big piece as well. But, like, just those things, I just want to be – I just love to play, and I let it be with my dogs.
That's awesome.
What role does hope play in a professional athlete, in a team, in a locker room?
Man, it's pretty much the theme. We can come up with different mantras and whatever each and every season, but all 32 teams start with the same thing. It's the hope to get to where we all trying to get to the Lombardi, to the trophy. But hope, man, you know, I think it kind of sparked all of our careers, even at a young age, and throughout the process, there's been different things that have kept our hope alive, or ignited or reignited our hope in certain areas. You know, so like for me in 11th grade, that was like that was my probably got relit again, right? Reignition, and got sparked again in college, NFL a couple of times. But like hope is I think is that's what we grind for, right? Because we don't really know. We're hoping that we're going to have that great season, that Pro Bowl, we're getting that bag, that deal, or this, that, and the third. So I think that's the word. Maybe it don't sound like, but that is what it is. We all hoping to get what we're trying to get. We all going to work in different ways or try different ways to get it.
Did anyone ever say anything to you, like a coach or another player, or anyone that really inspired you when you were kind of at a crossroads of hope?
Yes, Romeo. Two people. I remember like it was yesterday. So a lot of things, like different parts in life.
If you don't say me, I'm going to be really upset.
Oh yeah,
there are actually three people that inspire me on a daily basis.
Yeah, and then you guys came. Yeah. You guys came and like turned it up, like right. So before all that, it was let me see what camp. It was my training camp in Kansas City. So it was, I want to say, my third training camp, right? Romeo Crennel, yes, third training camp, yep. Second or third. Romeo Crennel was my defensive coordinator, and it was after a practice, and I think I was just like struggling. And, I started the whole first year, and that might have been the second camp, right? Come to second camp, I'm just like struggling, like, dang, like my other guys doing better, and it's like, damn, my job. It's like, damn, I work hard for this. Like, what's happening? It's like, I know I can do this, but it's like, boom. But I think he just came up to me after a practice, and it's just a simple thing. I can't remember it verbatim, but it was just basically like, it's not the end of the world that you having a bad practice or a bad camp right now. You know who you are. Relax and just go. Just go with it. Boom. So that was one that day.
Yeah.
And then, because I was in the shower today, I was thinking about this. I was like, man, some certain question I was trying to anticipate, right?
Yeah,
Cornerback. And I was like, how do I was thinking about a camp. Somebody asked me to come do exposure camp, like talking about identity and by playing the game. I was like, okay, how I was going to talk about, like, I talked to God on daily. I talk different. Maybe we all talk differently to him. I was like, he responds. Like, what does that sound like? I was like, to me, he responds to me in ways it's like people will say or answer me whatever I was asking, and it'd be in different arenas, or would it be the same? Like, what? Like, who are you? What you? Why you? How you know that? Right? So that's how it happens to me in some of my conversations. Right? So the second time I'm in my dorm, we stayed at St. Joseph, stayed in St. Joseph, so whatever the college is, I forget it. In the dorm, and I'm just like overwhelmed, man. I'm just like about to cry. Like, what the heck? And my teammate, old head, John McGraw, old safety, about year 11, 12 at that time, come into my room, just kind of see I was like struggling a little bit, and he handed me a Bible, and he had a scripture for me. Can't remember it, but I read the scripture, and it's just like, dang, like, bro, you're gonna be okay. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's simple. It ain't nothing
profound.
But it's just to me, in my moment, I'm gonna remember, even when I'm hopefully down the road and I can reflect on life and things, like those defining and turning points in people, nondescript plays, so to speak. It was like that day when I felt like it was, it could have been make or break time for me. I could have went off the deep end. It's like got reeled back in that situation. And that's, of course, time in different moments keep hope alive, or just like, those that just gives me hope. Is like, dang, in return, it's like, I hope I can be that guy when I get older.
He probably was just
being
having a day, just his normal day, and he may not even remember that. That's the thing, is you probably affected so many more people, and I know you have. You've affected so many more people than you think you have by just being you.
It's true.
Because your character makes up who you are, and you just sort of move through life every day, and there's this giant wake, and I think we just, in general, we don't realize the wake that we've left behind. Like, that's a good transition to talk about your mom for a second. Like, your mom, an amazing woman. She left a giant wake. She was in a job, right? So maybe you could tell us a second about what she did, but she was in a job that maybe might not leave a wake, like in their own minds as they're going through it, right? I'm just a teacher. I just do this simple job, but tell about the wake that your mom left.
Well, she was the third of, it was 7 in her family. I want to say 7, right? And 2 of them, my 2 aunts, Brenda Spencer and Mildred Robinson. Mildred Robinson passed a few years back, but Mildred was the first one. That's Auntie B. She moved to Flint first. And she taught for 40 plus years.
Wow.
Now, she was in Flint with she used to serve and teach along in the same community alongside the Black Panthers back in that time, right? So she was the first to come. So she started it. And then my Aunt Brenda, she came a few years later. Then my mom, which is the baby out of the entire family, came years later to Flint, following them as well. So her passion has always been, I guess, teaching. I got a chance to learn a lot about her and hear a lot of stories, after the fact. And it's like, damn, I just kind of brings more color to who she is, because, she was mom and she tried to be mom. And it's like, damn, I get a chance to see, like, you talked a lot when you were little. Like, my kids do the same thing. I'm like, okay, now I get to see it here. So, but no, she was, like I say, in the list of her siblings that came to Flint to teach. And that's how she met my father, and that's how that story went. But she was teaching, and that was her passion, to a point where, I could see from day 1 to day 180, however many days we in school, like, her, for one, get drained like a mug, right? But at the same time, she getting, like, charged up and refilled throughout the process, because little Johnny can finally complete the sentence or can write or do this, or she can look in his eyes or her eyes and see like it's finally, the gears are finally turning. Like that little stuff is like, dang, you know, her kids we over here, you know, I'm getting straight A's and all that, but it's like she in a different world when she going, like that's where the car carries. I'm rolling my sleep. I'm gonna go somewhere different than my comfort zone and go help. So just seeing her and you know, my favorite time was to take your son or daughter to school day. Like I used to enjoy it because walk through the whole school. I see her just motivating her class. I heard about y'all so much to get a chance to see you all. But then it came to the point where like the coach, she used to do we used to clean house, spring giveaways. We're giving it to janitor, this person, mom, this, that, and the third. My aunt's doing it. You know, we get a chance to maybe have some ladies come and help us and clean our house every once in a while. We taking care of them. So I just got to see my parents do it, and it wasn't like we doing it and talking about it or advertising. So that's why I'm like, I don't say, we just do it, you know? So it's like, I just got a chance to see them do it. Then my dad came along and he began to coach from 9 to 17. So that's a whole decade of watching him do his thing almost, right?
And he still shows up every Thursday.
Man,
he's still coaching.
Coach, I'm like, it's so funny to hear him. I'm 36 years old now.
Yeah, happy late birthday, by the way.
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. And he is there, 68? What is he? Yeah, something like that. And he is there coaching me like, I'm laughing like, this is so funny.
Yeah,
like,
Justin says he pulls him all the time. He's like, hey, man, if you tried this on that shot, and Justin's like, yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, I will, yes, I will.
Like, he just like to be around it too, right? So
and
like,
what's a coach always a coach?
Man, I got it. So I had the education in the sports, but I couldn't run. So no, just with seeing her, even on her last, you know, her last years, you know, she was still in the classroom until she couldn't do it anymore. That was her joy. And then like her last days, man, it was. The powerful part about it was just she was there, but she was, you know, transitioning. But just to hear her talk and just to feel like her energy, because like my biggest thing, I was just like, hey, because I got a chance to, you know, Cowboys gracious enough to let me come home before I missed a couple of weeks of camp to, you know, be with her and just to see her. Like my biggest thing was like, it's not your time yet because he's still preparing your classroom for more people to do your thing up there. And that's what we hung on to until it was her time, right?
So beautiful.
And, you know, just to kind of keep I don't say the theme, but like, you know, whatever, the theme for her life.
Yeah.
We got themes in our life, so like that was what it was about.
Well, that was her God-given talent,
That was her God-given
right?
talent.
And I mean, her legacy lives on through you. And I'll tell you, we're going to have to, for the sake of time, we're going to have Brandon 2.0. Brandon, we're going to have you on the podcast all the time. But a lot of what we talked about before you joined us in the studio today is people have an opportunity to Google tons of surface level things about you. But really, we wanted to bring you into the studio because it's a place, a safe space to break down walls and to get to know you. You know, we get to do that with the stories of Miss Kathy and your dad. Tell me more about your family. I know your greatest joy in life is being a dad, being a coach, all these things coming full circle. Tell us more about your wife and your family. Man,
it's we are busy, and it's so exciting. It's so draining, and I get to laugh at the end of the day. So I'm like, dang, it was just two of us. I got 5, but just this like, you know, and I'm trying to do. Actually, I got 5 kids, but then I got the rest of the boys that I'm coaching. But like just the at-home family, man, just trying to balance that. Juggling. Tori is. It's
harder than the NFL, right? It's harder than anything.
So much harder, right? I would much rather be in watching film and all that, right? But no, it's just to see. Got the 2 little ones. Like I just laugh. I got, you know, 4 or 15. Oh, dang, 15 and 8, and I got the 2 and 1. So I was like, it just went, you know,
My
COVID.
hero.
I blame it on COVID, whatever. But it was COVID. It was going. But you know, Sid is. Grown woman, about to leave today, actually. She got a tournament in Arizona. So her and I and Ace gonna fly out with us. We're gonna check her out. You know, she's been balling, doing her things, a 9th grader, transitioning, get to see her social life, all that, becoming a young lady.
Oh my gosh.
She get to make her own decisions. I gotta live with those now. Like I taught you, I thought I taught you, mom taught you, and then you get to learn them on your own, boom. And then so we got Tyler, Kansas City. You know, she'll be here soon, but, you know, her and Ace are like, the good thing now, you know, siblings, they different areas, but like you got social media, you have iPads with the FaceTime, and you got Fortnite that they play all the time. So it's like, they there every day.
They're so connected.
So connected. Yeah. So, bam, she'll be here soon. And she come in the house, she like to balance because Sid is kind of out the way. Ace is wild and crazy. Kylie and Ace are the same. She's 2, and she probably the most athletic one out of
Kai? Really?
And she wears a dress and a skirt every day. All she want to do, but she can run, jump.
My girl.
She got 1 leg, 2 leg, can spin around like she's that. It's funny, and she talks. And she came out with 2 months early, like she was ready to go. So she's
Skylar
really,
Diggins in the making. I see
she
it.
got some juice to her, like really like assertive and spunky. Say what she feel, and she means it. And then Kobe, 18 months now? I got to get these months things down.
That's your anchor, yeah.
And him and Sid are a big, like my mom's side, big boom. Ace and Kylie are like the long, like Tory, skinny one, thin one.
So you're probably going to have a mix of basketball and football in there. That's what I'm seeing. And volleyball.
Well, it's funny because you got to think. Sid see me do everything. She was there. Ace been in the locker room since he was, but Ace got to see it, 5 years, whatever it was, got to be in the locker room. Kylie would never see me play. Kobe would never, ever see me play. All he can do is watch highlights. You know what I'm saying? Like he gonna see me as a coach and as a dad. He gonna watch Austin play and everybody else. So I guess that's the funny part. Like I don't know what they gonna do. And at this point in my life, I'm like, you don't have to do it. It's like my kids are like, you don't have to do it. But if you're gonna do anything, you got to lock in.
Right.
You're gonna practice and commit yourself. I would like for you to do a sport because it's like a lot of team building as you get older. Maybe everybody not gonna make it to where but you can use it for what you're using it for. But we're going to do something.
But can I tell you, Brandon, I would argue that Kai and Kobe are going to see the most important chapter of your life. Like, I feel like we have so much to celebrate from the 25 years, and I look forward to the next chapter.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's going to be the most profound thing that you do, because what you've always been so great at in your legacy is that what you did outstanding things on that field, but it's what you did off the field that made you the man that you are. I mean, we could go on and on about Walter Payton Man of the Year nominations, and I think it's bigger than any trophy. I think it's about the legacy and just what you're still doing for these kids. And because of your dad, because of your mom, you are going to have such a big impact and like just blaze trails for them. Like you just can't, I don't want you to ever underestimate that what your tiny kids are going to see you do is probably going to be the most powerful thing that you'll ever do as a father.
And to me, I guess that's the most, two-sided is like, nerve-wracking and kind of like, dang, I'm like another big platform. That's like, dang, looking up at the mountain, like in 25 years, I was able to like do this or 35, whatever you want to say, this next piece, like you say, when I get to 55, 60, it's going to happen like that. And I know what it took to get there. And it's like, ooh, kind of scary. And the next part is like the hope piece. Like, that was amazing. And I hope I can do that. But then like the good part of hope, I'm about to work to get to that hope part, right? So it's like, dang. Now I'm not looking at the mountain like that's a big mountain. It's like, let me tie my shoes. I can't wait to run up this mountain faster than I ran up this last mountain.
Yeah, because it's work ethic. That's the thing is, right? It's like figuring out, you got this work ethic. You're like, I'm ready to work because that's what made you who you are, to stand out in NFL. But it's got to go into something. It's going to go. So all that light's going to focus like a laser into whatever that next thing is. And I think that's what's wonderful about it. You don't know what God's next steps are for you.
Right.
I'm 45 now, so I'm probably not going to get back in the NFL. Wait, I never was in the NFL. Anyway, my days are over, right? Yeah. So anyway, but no, what's exciting is watching that next generation and then the imprint, and that's legacy. So, legacy, man, it's going to be amazing watching your kids and all these other young guys and girls that you're impacting, really go to that next level.
Well, it's such a good place to leave it because hope really is what we're founded on, and it's the common denominator. What I want you to tell me, though, I'm going to get it on the mic. You'll promise you'll come back for Brandon 2.0 because there are so many more things I'd love to talk to you about.
I think we got a lot of different subjects we can touch on and like dig into it. And then, maybe one day you can slide his mic over here and you can put another guest and I can help you guys out.
Yeah. Oh,
100%.
Another commitment. I'm over here.
The co-host. I just heard a co-host commitment.
That's right.
That's what I just heard. Well, Brandon, it's always such an honor and a privilege to spend time with you, and just thank you from the bottom of our hearts for all you've done to enrich NBCF and the women and families that we serve. So much of the hope that we're able to give is because of you. So thank you for helping us help women now. We sincerely look forward to Brandon 2.0 on the podcast, and we look forward to, just being back here in studio soon with our next guest. And again, I just can't say thank you enough. We love you so much.
I just want to say thank you all for today, but just since we met, right? That's the moment throughout the journey that you guys provided hope for myself, and you saved a life without even knowing it, right? You was able just to give me an opportunity to use your resources and to provide that channel that I needed to communicate and to kind of, I never had like the counselor or the psychiatrist or whatnot, so I used you all to just do what I thought was best, and that's continue the legacy that my mom, we talked about and they preached about as infants to now, and that's to continue to pass the torch and to ignite other souls and other people. So I thank you all for just reigniting myself and letting us do some things, and hopefully as we move forward and continue this relationship that we continue to create more momentum in communities across the world. So I appreciate you all.
The best way to heal ourselves is to help others heal and to inject hope into other people. So, it's definitely a symbiotic relationship. We have needed you and you needed us. And I think that's what's so great about it is that God put us together. So thank you on behalf of NBCF and everyone for what you've done to use your platform. And that's the thing, you showed up. That's the theme of today, is showing up.
Showing up.
Just keep showing up, people. So,
right.
so show up to the next podcast. We'll see you on the next one.
All right, that's Hope Ignited. We love you guys.